better hit the mat podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 already of Hit the Mat podcast. I got it right this week.
Nailed it.
As ever, I'm joined by these three reprobates, and we're going to salute you as we start, always with a beverage. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
So,
Question. What's a reprobate?
Reprobate?
What's a reprobate? I want to know if you're
later.
insulting me or if you're giving me a compliment.
That's
What the fuck? You're the one with 4 PhDs.
I'm
You should
glad
be
the
telling
doctor
me.
asked. I'm glad the doctor asked.
I googled it. It's British for very handsome Americans. So
Okay.
we're good.
Perfect.
That must be it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Got you.
So we had a total blast last week with Sarah on, and we're going to bring you another guest this week. And before we get into that, we've got a few other bits to cover. We've had some feedback, and we pushed this thing in the middle here. You see, I've put your content here up here this week. So we've had a video submission from one of our amazing listeners, and we're just going to play this out for you now.
Hi guys, it's Steve here in the UK. Just a little bit of feedback for you. I'm really loving the new podcast. 2 episodes in, what a fantastic start. Really looking forward to seeing where you take it next. I've been gripped by your stories. I've laughed like an idiot at the banter between you, and I can't stop grinning at people randomly disappearing off screen. Travis. I guess, to sum up my feedback, really, my experience of DDPY and home workouts generally really is probably the same as everyone else's, in that, I'm sitting here in my spare room. There's my mat on the floor. So DDPY can be quite a solitary experience, but a lot of work and a lot of effort goes into building up the community to make you feel like you're part of something bigger. And that's what I feel when I listen to your podcast. So thank you for what you do. Keep it up. And let's take it from strength to strength, really. Anyway, better go, better hit the mat.
Cheers.
Hell yeah, Steve. See, that's about as good as it gets. When somebody tells you that they watch this and then they're going to go hit the mat, literally, that's why we called it what we did. And that's the highest of compliments, honestly.
I
Absolutely.
like the little Max Headroom drop at the end.
Yeah, so bringing it on to, we did have a few technical issues last week. We're sorry. We seem to have Travis back this week.
Hey, I'm happy to see everybody.
Yeah, he's doing much better. And oh, fuck it. We've lost him again.
That figures.
Hold on. Let me just try and get this back.
Nah, that's all right. We'll
hold
go
on a
without
second.
him. We'll do it live.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, Travis.
An Irishman, an Irishman,
He's
an
back.
Irishman, an Irishman, an
Good to see you,
Irishman, an
Travis.
Irishman, and a Scotsman, and a Frenchman, and an American.
Oh, he's back. Look, there we
And
go.
a German.
Oh, look at you guys. You're so nice.
Yeah, and actually, due to some of those technical issues, it's led to a lot of editing on Boz's behalf. And so we've actually bumped our... Yeah, he says that. You should have seen the private messages. Holy cow. But we bumped our recording schedule up a week. So what that's going to do is it's going to give Boz 10 days to polish all the shit that we throw out there.
10 polished in is what I do best.
Yeah, that's right. So, we're going to be recording this on one day, and then we're going to record on Sundays, and then we're going to release 2 Thursdays from now. So some of this stuff, if we're too topical, that might seem a little outdated, but we'll do our best to account for some of that delay. But in the end, hopefully it'll lead to a lot better product.
Hopefully.
I didn't make any promises.
No. So in terms of our, it's only been a week. It normally would have been 2. But in terms of our class stuff and things like that, how's everyone's week been? Well, we had an awesome tag team workout, went out yesterday with the ladies fucking owning it, to be honest, and schooling a lot of us. That was a brutal advanced workout, which seemed to go down rather well. So
yeah, it was excellent to have 4 women, all L2s or nearly L2s. Just go out there and just leave it all out on the mat. That was it was awesome. I actually ran through it this morning. I was going to do it last night, but I couldn't have given it much because I was just exhausted. So I hit it first thing this morning, and it was a lot of fun. I love that she had you call out the plank number. And,
Cheat, I know.
I was glad that you went with 40. I thought you were gonna be real bad and throw out a 60 or a 90-second plank there, but 40 was good though.
I think 40 had to be the minimum, really, for an advanced workout. But there's some really cool stuff I hadn't done before from the others, and like I wasn't supposed to be doing the workout because I was running the boards, as it were. And at one point, I just ran on the mat and joined in, and then another one I was doing it to the side. You sort of see my hands come into shot because I was really enjoying Mary Beth's dynamic resistance phase. So that was fucking awesome. I loved it. How have you guys been getting on this week with your classes, etc.? Anything to mention?
Well, just staying busy as usual. Tom and I have been adding a additional Sunday collab, if you will, and just because our time's kind of back to back, and it's I think it's been adding a little interest of having people, just do 2 back-to-back classes, which normally they probably would never do. And so I've had a pretty decent turnout. How about you, Tom?
I'm blown away by the interest of doing 2 workouts in a row. So I think the novelty of doing both of our classes together, and you have that same thing on your Friday night with the class you guys will talk with Kristin, is there's a lot of novelty that I never thought somebody would want to do 2 hours in a row, and people are asking for it now. So I think every Sunday we'll continue doing that 9 a.m. in the morning with my class, 10 a.m. with Travis's. I do more of like a stretch class in the morning, and he does his regular level 1. So it's a good opportunity for people to kind of get everything stretched out, ready to go. I call my class an active recovery class, and then he just blasts them.
Okay.
But it's been good feedback. It's been fun. So the one thing, I think we're all collectively talking about before is, life is semi getting back to normal now. People are getting back to work. Children are getting back to school. We are seeing a reduction in some of our attendance. We're trying to figure out what that is. And it's more than likely people just don't have that free time to do the workouts anymore. So us as instructors, we really have that kind of burden now is to try to figure out what can we do to meet their times best. So I think that's going to be the next evolution for the next few weeks, is making sure that we can offer classes when we're available, but also when our students are available.
Well, starting on September 1st, I'll be 2 nights a week in Marcel's on his group. On his website.
That's cool.
Yeah, Marcel has gone rogue. He is fully branding. I mean, he's always had great attendance up there in Canada, and he's branching out to a full online platform. And it could be he's definitely beta testing it for a lot of instructors, and he paved the way for a lot of personalized L1 classes, and now he's kind of paving it through the digital age. So he's really kicking in the door on a lot of it. And, he'll it's great because he'll probably make a few mistakes here or there that some people will, and he'll be more than transparent with it and let people know, hey, don't go that way or don't do this, and he's always been really good about that in the certification groups and stuff like that. So that's it's really interesting. And I'm sure if you're not in the certification program or you're not teaching it, it's really not that interesting to you guys, but it is, at least for me, from a marketing standpoint, it's always really cool to see how people approach what they're doing, because they can choose to do anything. They could just use the app if they wanted to. So what can we offer them that's a little bit different? So that's great.
For those of you that are listening out there that don't know who Marcel is, he's Dr. Marcel Dorr. He's a L2 instructor in Canada. We're having this little private conversation between the 3 of us because we all know who he is. But if somebody doesn't know who he is,
good call on that.
Name,
that would be Travis.
Transition coach.
Transition Coach Canada.
.ca. Yeah. But he's running some awesome stuff up there.
Real quick, we would be remiss if we didn't mention the feedback we're getting from Sarah's appearance. Literally, I'm pretty sure every single person that watched that episode, all they did, we might as well have not even been on there. They just absolutely adored her. They loved her stories. Everybody's talking about Tom's damn mummy question. And somewhere, if the world was normal and people were out at bars, that would have been a topic of conversation for a few people. Like, hey, you know what? guess what a mummy smells like. So she absolutely killed it, and it was just awesome, above and beyond anything we could have hoped for, honestly.
Yeah.
So she definitely set the bar high.
That's fun.
Smashed
Definitely.
it.
Loads of feedback.
There's a little section I want to bring in here, and if I get now, I'm going to have a bit more time for editing. Hopefully, I'm going to do a stupid little intro for it.
Okay.
But I wanted to address the transatlantic nature of this podcast. So there's some fair differences between our cultures, and I was doing something the other week, and it just came to mind, and I thought, you know what, we can make this quite a regular segment. So I was thinking something along the lines of, "What the fuck's up with that?" or something like that.
The fuck's up with that?
What the fuck?
Good alliteration.
So the thing I was thinking is I was using a motorway services and their facilities there, and I thought it was quite nice. It had 2 solid walls at the side, and I was thinking, yeah, what is up with that in America? Why are your toilet cubicles, your public toilet cubicles, 2 foot off the floor? A 5-year-old could look over the top of the door, and a fucking inch gap either side. I mean, you might as well just have cellophane wrap instead of a door. What's the point? There you go. That's where it all came from.
Gotcha. You know, they've started putting on privacy spacers that go beyond the door, so it does kind of block that. But you are not wrong. But that's
very strange.
That's old-fashioned American engineering. That's just when you've got minimums and maximums you have to hit for construction. Well, that maximum might be an inch, but it's an inch both ways, so it leads to a 2-inch gap. Plain and simple.
Exactly.
The door was like that.
Exactly.
One of our compadres in Canada, their front door was built like that. There'd be issues.
You're not wrong, but I mean it keeps it interesting. You know what? You don't sit on the toilet for too long, do you? You do your business and you get the fuck out of it.
Exactly.
It keeps
Unless
the
you're
line
weirdo.
turning, man.
I think that could be the answer right there.
I got one for you. Okay, so when you guys go into crashing airplane, you say take that back foot and kick it out like a kickstand, but I believe you guys call it a side stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a motorcycle term, so we only started doing it recently. I think Lavinia said it by mistake, because Lavinia, apart from being a badass DDPY instructor, also rides a 800cc motorcycle every day, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice.
That takes guts. So we call it a side stand. You kick it down so the bike doesn't fall over.
Gotcha.
But
You just said you kick it down.
Yeah, so I have no objection. No objection to it being called a kickstand. Although the reason we probably don't is if you have a bike without an electric ignition, you have a Kickstarter as well. So if you have a kickstand and a kickstart, that's too easy to get confused. If you have a kickstart and a side stand, everyone's clear.
That's true.
I did a Kickstarter once. It didn't go.
I know people who've broken bones on Kickstarters on motorcycles. When they whip back, oh my word.
Okay, I got one for you. All right, so I lived over in London during college for a little bit, studied over there, and first time I ordered a beer, it was a Guinness, and it came room temp. Not a fan, and but
ew.
I never got a beer room temperature. I lived in Germany for 3 years. I never had a beer room temperature. I was in England for 30 days. I never got a warm beer in England.
Yep.
I don't know where the hell you were. Where the fuck were you at where you got a warm beer? They were like, this American, give him that fucking hot beer.
It would have been, I believe it's Cambridge House in, I told you where I stayed, Boz. I can't remember where the hell it was now.
Wow.
I wouldn't have known anyway.
You told me you called me posh, and then I think.
Oh, did I? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
It was South Kensington, so.
Oh, yes. Yeah, very posh.
Yep, see.
That surprises me that the refrigeration unit would be busted, though, because cold Guinness is absolutely how it should be served.
Yeah. Well, but that's the thing is that when I asked why it was warm, he's like, "Oh no, you have to order." They had 2 styles, and apparently you had to order the cold version. I'm like, I didn't realize it was a thing, man.
You see, the reputation for British people drinking warm beer is it's not lager, it's ales, real ales, IPAs, things like that. And it's a very sort of mid-country, north country thing. People with flat caps and whippets who order that kind of thing. And I think
all right. Whippet. What's a whippet? Because
it's a type of dog, sorry. Kind of like a greyhound, but small.
Okay. Because here in whippets are how you get high using Ready Whip here.
Yeah,
True.
Dennis
Nitrous.
A myth with German beer, hot beer, is in order to pour a proper beer in Germany, it takes 7 minutes, they say, to pour a Pilsner. So, but when you go to these large festivals, they're just pouring so many beers at once. By the time you do get it warm, but you get a cold beer.
The thing about Germany is you get a Stein, which is more than a pint. And the first time I ever had a Stein, I struggled to lift the bloody thing. It was before my DDP yoga days, I think. I was like two-handed.
As well, when you're when you drink out of a Stein the first go round, when you take your first gulp or whatever, if you set your Stein down to the edge, and if the handle touches and beer pours, then you have to buy the next round. So you're drinking 10, 12 ounces on the first gulp.
Nice.
Of course, being extremely healthy machines of fitness and everything else, we don't drink beer often or anything like that.
Never would we
Never.
ever. Ever.
Never.
This is just
Speaking
water,
of
I
Germany, this
promise.
is a Marzen style. This is delicious. Got a little Oktoberfest going. Oktoberfest beers come out in like July now. Like in the middle
You gotta
of the
stock up.
summertime. We get all the Oktoberfest beers. All
They're
the
from
summer
last
beers
year's
are gone
October.
already. Exactly.
But in the States, they all taste of pumpkin, right? That's
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of pumpkin beers for sure.
Yep.
For sure. And that's beer talk with Better Hit the
But those who know me from years back of podcasting, my first podcast, we reviewed a beer every single week. So me talking about beer on a podcast is kind of like, it's how
Second
I
nature.
started.
second
kinda what I
nature,
do.
right?
Well, yeah, when I started, right, we got this beer in called McEwen's Extra, which is a Scottish beer. And we tried it on live on the show. And I said it tastes like gravy and poured most of it down the sink. By the time we'd been going a few years, we did like a greatest hits. And we had 12 bottles of beer, ranging in like from 5% alcohol up to 15 to 18% alcohol. It got a bit messy. But the McEwen's Extra we put back on there, and I loved it. My taste had completely changed as I got into the darker ales, the porters, the more complex flavors and stuff. So, yeah, it was a thing. But that's how I went up to 20 stone and needed to lose a shit ton of weight.
It's a good way to put on weight, that's for sure.
It'll do it fast.
Yeah. I did forget to play some feedback, so we've got to put it in here. This is going to steal the show, actually. Like, anything we do here is kind of irrelevant because you guys are just going to fucking love this.
Oh, gosh. Is this my mom?
Get your ear holes around this.
Yeah.
Did you see what he
Hold on real
said?
quick. My mom's called me. I don't know why.
Oh, you gotta answer that.
I wonder if she fucked up.
I love that
Hello.
he's keeping the Patrick Swayze.
Hi. Really? Okay. You called me this late on a fucking Friday? You had me scared to shit, lady.
Roadhouse one.
I would never talk to my
She
mum
just
like
watched the
that.
podcast. Me and my
How
mom are
about
friends,
shit?
man.
Well, tell her thank you.
Oh shit! When you did,
Yeah,
I'm like,
I'm on a call
Yeah,
with
Mom
Travis
keeps it
from
real.
the podcast, and,
She scared the shit out of
we're
me, man.
totally gonna tell this story next time we fucking record. So
She's like, Ryan, I was just listening to Cardi B's new song, Lap.
oh gosh, she said, okay,
tell me what
remember
that
this,
means?
Travis, word for word. She's glad it's your internet struggles. She thought for a second you might have had tick.
That for a long time.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I'm glad that boy doesn't have a team.
No, tell her I'm
Can you
tick
tell
free.
she's southern a bit? Just a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah. That's
This is where
funny.
he puts her on speaker.
You like Boz's accent? Would you say that it's very sexy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Dr. Tom's nutritional part that he's going to be doing.
We
That'll
all
be
are.
good. Huh?
We all are looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It's about the only legitimate thing we can offer.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't wake you, did I?
No, I'm literally on a call with Travis right now.
Oh,
We're-
okay. I'll let you go.
all right, Mom.
There we
Love
go.
you.
Right.
Yeah, love you too. I'm glad he doesn't have a tip.
She's gonna flip now. Now she's made the podcast. Look at that. So
But I can officially never make any like yo mama jokes now because that would be wildly inappropriate if she thinks my accent's sexy. So our guest is waiting in the wings.
I'm gonna pay you to do a cameo for her birthday. Hello,
Oh, that would be
You
perfect.
pay me, that's fine.
excellent. All right, cool. Yeah. So fresh off the heels of Sarah last week, we're gonna bring in another DDP DDPY instructor. She's been an instructor for a very, very long time. Most of the community probably know her as the blonde-haired girl in the modification spot that counted to 10 way too fast during the Diamond Cutter 2.0 workout and forced you to stay in plank until 15. She swears up and down that it wasn't her fault, so we'll let her tell you all about it. But everybody give it up for Kristin Nava.
Woo!
Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Welcome.
How y'all doing?
Remember, you got to scream loud. You got to talk to us like we're working out with you now. You got to get into it.
And count really fast, right? Oh my God.
Yes.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's the thing. This is going to be.
She couldn't hear the
She's a
intro. She brought it up herself.
She's a natural for the show.
Listen, okay. let me just clear that up before we get started. Okay, so we were working out like the whole day. I had already taken like 2 scoops of pre-workout, and Dallas counts fast anyway. Everybody was counting like that.
It's true.
But I was super excited, so I was like screaming the loudest. So I guess you could hear me like over everybody else. But everybody blames me, but everybody was counting.
Pick it up a little higher. They're counting awful fast.
3, 2, 1.
And hold there for 5, 4.
3, 2, 1.
That was way too fast. All the way down. In.
Just to clear the air.
Yeah, I mean, and let's be honest. Why would the person in the mod spot be trying to speed up the count?
Exactly.
You ain't busting your ass there like everybody else. Like, come on. Get out of here.
Exactly.
But we know that it was actually, you counted too fast. This is a 40-minute interview, but in your time, it's only going to take like 32 minutes.
That's it.
Okay. All right. That's fine. We're fine.
I'm sorry. That's going to be the last one. I promise. I promise.
Okay.
It's your fault. If you would have never brought that up to me, I would have never heard it. Ever since you told me that people blame you for that, I see it so much now. Yeah.
I get so much shit for it all the time.
Well, if it's any consolation, Kristin, I don't get that. I do hear you though in the count. That's for sure.
I was when I get excited, I can't control my loud voice. I get louder when I'm nervous, and also my twang gets a little more fierce when I'm nervous. So,
You know what you need to reply? Next time somebody calls you out for it, be like, well, I'll tell you what. When you get invited to the Performance Center to record Series 3.0, you can count to 10 as fast or as slow as you want.
Burn.
And then just drop your mic and walk away.
Until then, shut the fuck up, right?
Oh, damn. All right. Well, yeah. So most people, Kristin, most people have probably seen your video where you met Dallas at a convention. Was it a Comic-Con? Was it a WrestleCon? What was that?
Yeah, it was the day before WrestleMania, so they were doing like a WrestleCon kind of thing. Yeah.
I did your program.
What did you start at? A size what?
22. I'm
Where
a
are you
6.
now?
I told her she's got it.
That's hands down one of my favorite videos out there. I fucking love it. And like the Jesus comment, like the first time I saw it, slayed me. I thought it was amazing because it's heartwarming and beautiful, but funny at the same time. So
oh, absolutely.
I can't repost it enough.
You saved my life. You really did. I appreciate every little thing. I don't want her to forget her stuff. I'm sorry. It's like meeting Jesus. I don't know.
Let's not go that far.
I get so much shit for that one too.
Nah.
So much.
Well, no, I saw that before I ever met you, and it seems so honest and genuine, and then even more so after we've gotten to know you. No, it's great.
It absolutely completely caught me off guard that anybody was even going to talk to me, and so it just kind of came out like it's like meeting Jesus. Like I don't know.
Love it.
I mean, I guess it worked out. I hope he knew what I meant by that. Like, he's really special to me, and he really just completely saved my life on so many levels, y'all. Like, so many levels. So,
absolutely. That's what makes it. It was organic. and
Right.
it was spontaneous, and the most important thing is it was real.
Yeah.
If they weren't recording right then and there, and you had said that, and they're like, "Oh shit, we should have got that on camera," and then you said it again, it wouldn't have landed even
Right.
close.
Right.
Well,
But the fact of the matter is, it was amazing.
Well, thanks. It was crazy because it was me and Brenda just talking, and then out of nowhere, I mean out of fucking nowhere, there was like, boom, a camera here, and boom, a camera here, and then there was a big light behind me, and they just started recording. They didn't tell me, hey, we're about to start recording. I just told Brenda, like, I've lost 60 pounds doing this, and she's like, oh, wow, you got to tell Dallas. And then the cameras were everywhere, and I just started crying because that's what I do.
I love it.
Yeah,
and if anyone gives you shit for that, by the way, I give you shit for that comment. You send them my way.
Yes.
And I'll sort them out for you.
It was really cool to see like a young Steve in the background, and like all the people you see now that are like Robert, I think is in the video.
Yeah.
Like they're in the background,
they were,
like
infants.
Yeah, exactly. And just they were just feeling their way out, just trying to figure out how the hell they were going to do anything and market themselves. And man, somebody like you walks in and they're just like, oh, hello, we got our poster girl. They already had their poster guy. They needed that poster girl, and it was, what an amazing video. And your before and after picture, like when Dallas says, you know, every good transformation, the shittier your before picture, the better your after is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like that one side by side just nails it to a T.
Pretty
Just
wild.
awesome.
It's hard to believe that I looked like that at one point. I'll never forget the way that I felt. I think one of my big turning points with my weight loss and starting DDPY was like I couldn't walk so well at that point. Like being over 300 pounds and I'm only like 5'2". I had a friend that lived in an apartment complex, and he lived on the 3rd floor. And at my heaviest, like I got way too big, and I told him like, look, we're going to have to figure something out. You're going to have to start coming to my house because I can't walk up the stairs to see you anymore. So, I mean, I couldn't even get up there.
Wow.
My knees couldn't carry my weight up there anymore. So, but sometimes I look back on that video, and when I look back on my before pictures, I'm like, how did you get to that point? Like, what happened, you know? But I'm glad to be here. DDPY helped me get here.
At the same time, though, your after picture, I mean, you and I have had this conversation. Hopefully you don't mind me bringing it up, but you said that you probably lost a little too much weight even.
Yeah.
That it wasn't necessarily a sustainable approach either, yeah?
Absolutely not. I got a little too carried away with it. Initially, when I started to lose weight, I was like, I'd be happy to lose 50 pounds. Like, that would be amazing. And in my mind, at over 300 pounds, I didn't think that was something that I'd even be able to do. So I got to 50, and I was like, okay, well, let's keep going, and dropped another 10 pounds, and then let's keep going. And I mean, eventually I got down to like 112 pounds. You could see all the bones in my back.
Wow.
I was, and I had no idea. I would still look in the mirror and see that.
You forever see that fat kid.
Yes.
Now,
that's me.
Kristin, was this all with DDPY or was this before DDPY?
Yeah, this was all DDPY. So like I
Okay.
started just with baby steps. I was doing like substituting sour cream to Greek yogurt and less cheese and like little things here and there. And then in the video, when I lost like 60 pounds, and I talked to Dallas when the cameras were off, and he was like, oh, well, you should try like paleo. And I was like, okay, I'll do whatever you say, dude. I'll do whatever you say. So I did. I started doing paleo, but like I've struggled with eating disorders my whole life. And so I took paleo to like the next level. And I just started limiting myself way too much. I was over exercising. I would work out like 3 times a day. Like I took it too far, but I had no idea. And it's crazy because I would post in like the DDP yoga groups, and everybody would be like, go, go, go. You look awesome. You're doing great. But they had no idea that I had so many mental struggles like behind closed doors. Like but I didn't share that part of my life, you know? So yeah, now I feel like I've figured it out. I mean, it's been like 7 years now, so now I know, like, okay, you can't go too crazy with it. You got to find like a happy medium. So that's what I'm trying to learn now. So I'm in that process. Yeah.
I think that's one of the most important things that you probably bring to the community that you don't even necessarily give yourself credit for. Your willingness to talk about your mental struggles, and even you're not afraid to negative self-talk to help other people a little bit. And sometimes you might take it a little too far, but I mean, you're coming fresh off of taking a break even from teaching, but you just had your first workout back on Friday with your back-to-back with Travis.
Yeah.
And you absolutely just kicked ass. And what happened? The attendance was through the roof. People were there.
It was awesome.
Y'all burn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Y'all burn.
Yeah, if you don't know, you want to drop a quick plug there real fast, Travis?
Here's how this came about. As I teach on Friday evenings, I've always wanted to take Kristin's class. Well, I'll back up a little bit. I'll go ahead and say this. Kristin is the first instructor that I was able to get in contact with as I became an instructor in training. I reached out to her, sent a little message, because as you know how the training process goes, you might not have a mentor right off bat. But I was doing some classes and I just wanted some feedback, and Kristin instantly sent a message to me and, kind of came into one of my classes, and because I was going live back in November and December. And that's how Kristin was able to watch one of my classes, and she was giving me this awesome feedback. So when she and I were doing classes on Friday nights, we were doing them at the same time. So I backed up an hour so I could teach my class and then hop into her class. And then one of my students, of course, you all know Jason Sparks, he jumped in and he coined the phrase "y'all burn" and started asking students to come over. So
he's the ultimate hype man.
He's the number one hype man.
He really is.
So
he's okay.
He's all right. So we've done that for quite a few Fridays, and then also what I've started to do was I want to ask some instructors to come. So I've called it First Friday. So every first Friday of the month, I'm going to have an instructor do a class. So Boz was the very first of that, and that was a great turnout, right, Boz?
Very honored that you asked. Thank you.
Yeah, I
really enjoyed it.
People.
Yeah,
just like 5 times more than I normally get. So it's awesome.
Well, Chris and I have talked privately as well, and I think that one of the things that is great about some of us instructors, and most of us, to be honest with you, is there's no jealousy involved. I want you in my group. I want everybody in my group. I want everyone to teach, and I think with the Y'all Burn thing, that shows that we have a good thing going. What do you think, Kristin?
I'm right there with you, friend. Like, we are totally in this together. And I love that we can work together as instructors to give our students a really awesome workout. I want to show them that we're a positive community and it's not a competition. And, we all have something different to bring to the table. And that's why I love, like, when we can collab together and do stuff together, because I know there's a lot of people that take all of our classes that would never be able to take them in person. Like, there's no way. Like, from the UK, like, friend, boss, I'd never be able to take your classes, So I'm, like, so pumped that we can do that, And I'm so excited that even though the quarantine sucks, like, we can still come together and do this. I think that's a really positive thing to bring to the community for sure.
And it leads to really awesome moments, like when you did the international tag team in Boz's group, and you went up into your Thunderbolt.
Oh my God.
And then you're like, we're just going to stay here for a little bit. And then your camera froze.
Internet went, yeah.
And so you were in Thunderbolt for about 6 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm at the back of the room, and like the screen's over there, so I'm like, is she frozen?
I apologize. She was on my Wi-Fi. I'm sorry.
Look, my internet went out. I know Travis knows all about shitty internet, right, Fred? or I just really love Thunderbolt. That was just there forever. No,
I mean, honestly, it was rock solid form. You barely moved.
Yeah, didn't twitch a muscle.
Move it all. Like a statue.
Yeah. So I know we talked a little bit about the recording of Diamond Cutter, but can you tell us, like, we probably won't have another opportunity, or maybe one or two, but it probably won't be for a while, to really talk to somebody that was there, that, like, fresh off of the YRG days when DDP yoga wanted to be taken more legitimately as a program and not just hot yoga babes. How did that even come about? I assume obviously you met Dallas, but how did you get involved with the recording? What was that whole thing like?
Yeah, I went probably a few months before that. Dallas called me and invited me to stay at his house, which used to be the accountability crib, for the weekend. And they were opening the performance center to the public, so it was like this big deal to go and hang out. So I stayed at his house for the weekend, and we hung out, and I did some workouts at the PC. And then a few months later, I was sitting in carpool picking up my kids from school, and Christina called me and was like, "Hey, do you want to do a video with us?" And I was like, "What?" And they were like, "Yeah, we're filming again for the DVDs." And it was, I mean, I had no idea it was coming, but I was like, "Sure." So we went, and it was crazy because we filmed over the course of a weekend. And it was epic. And then he called like the next week and was like, well, I don't like how the mats were set up on the stage. So can you come back and we're going to redo them? But, like I'm in Alabama, so I'm like only a few hours away. So no big deal. I could drive back, but a lot of people were coming from like all over the place, and they flew the first time. So a lot of people that filmed the first time couldn't come back for the next
Wow.
one. So yeah, I bet that sucked for them.
This is going to be really awkward, but I don't like the shirt that Travis is wearing, so we're actually going to have you come back tomorrow and record this all over, if that's cool with you.
Well, if I had a better designer, maybe you might like it.
I'm going to blame the printer.
So yeah.
No, that's awesome.
It was we were rushed back, and the first time it was like a chill weekend, and it was really, really fun. The next time it was rushed, and I filmed one day and went home that night. I had to drive like 4.5 hours home, but we filmed all day, and a lot of people don't know, like, you think it's just like 50 minutes, like wham bam done, but there was a lot of like cut and like, let's do this part over and let's do that part over. So like I was geeked up all day on pre-workout because we were working out all day.
Was he like, so you were in Diamond Cutter, did he script that out fully, or was he calling a lot of that on the fly?
Well, he was supposed to be, I mean, there was like this giant expo board like in front of us, like a giant one, and it had cues all over it. Sometimes I wonder if he looked at it because he missed a lot of stuff, and we had to go back. But yeah, I think it was supposed to be like, it was scripted.
Well,
I get that. Yeah. If I use notes, if I put a big board behind the camera and I'm doing an online workout and with the sequences, and if I actually wrote the cues out, it would mess me up something rotten. I literally have to have an overall heading of a name of a move if I'm going to do that, and that's it. Yeah. So when I did my L1 cert, my L2, anything like that, I had to memorize everything, because the second I look at a piece of paper, my brain just goes, that's wrong.
Bail. Yeah.
Bail.
Yeah.
See, I like to imagine that on that board during during Fat Burner, they just completely leave out the crunches on the second side. So it's like, did somebody forget to write it again on the board? Or is he like, what, we're screwed. We're running out of time here, folks. Let's just skip it.
Time is money.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, and so from there, he convinced you to get into teaching and instruction, the L1 program and everything from then on, or were you already kind of involved?
I was already done with certification at that point. When the video that everybody gives me shit over with the meeting, it's like meeting Jesus and stuff. So he emailed me after that, and he was showing me like, look, you're like the #1 searched video on this wrestling website, and sent me a link. And then he wrote, P.S. You should really think about getting certified. And now I know he says that to a lot of people. But at that moment, I was like, this dude is talking to me.
We've heard that story before.
You know, I mean,
Hey, well, you know, whether that's a cookie cutter response for him, it made a difference, right?
oh,
It made a huge difference. He's so good at it.
Yeah.
Just gonna write Mark on my forehead.
He was
Change your name.
hard, and I was like, he's talking to me. He's got faith in me. Like, he's just, I mean, so I started from there. And it took me 7 months. And yeah, I was pushing so hard because I was like, Diamond Dallas Page believes in me. I gotta get this done.
You know what, though?
What was the time frame from when you first started DDPY, though, till you actually started L1 training? How long were you doing?
I probably about a year and a half. Yeah,
Okay.
a year and a half, 2 years. Yeah, yeah. I wanted to. When I started, there was no chair force. There was no any kind of like super duper mods for big people. So I wanted to at least be able to be comfortable in the positions. Like when I first started, I would use one chair on one side and one chair on the other, and lunge position and all the balance stuff, like basically in everything, because I really couldn't hold myself up. But once I lost enough weight and I was comfortable in the positions, then I was like, okay, well, I wanted to kind of look like an instructor before I started teaching, if that makes sense.
It's amazing how many people say that.
It's the question I asked Dallas at the workshop before he told me to get on with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Apparently, I mean, you don't have to have abs to teach it. That's for certain. And in fact,
That's a good thing.
Yeah, true.
I've got abs. They're just not vacuum packed. That's all.
Yeah, they got abs. They don't show.
They're here. They're just very well protected.
Yeah. But no, that's awesome. Like, and I remember a while back, Dallas had and I think it was maybe on his personal page. He'd reposted the video, and he's like, "I'm so glad she's back with us." So my assumption, did you come away from the program for a little bit and then come back towards the summit time? Is that kind of what happened there, or?
Yeah, I stepped back for a little while. In 2015, I started going through the process of getting a divorce. At the beginning of 2016, my life went to shit real hardcore. Divorces can be such a messy thing, and it took over my life for a little while. I was still teaching at the gym, but I kind of laid low in the DDP yoga world until I got my life back together a little bit. We finalized the divorce, and I met my husband now, and he's like such a super awesome motivator that I was like, I got to get back on this. Like, the one thing that helped me the most through all my hard times and helped me lose weight was DDP yoga, so I can't give that up. So I kind of backed off from the groups a little bit, but yeah, I jumped right back on it, and it was once again another awesome thing for me to do.
Well, you can tell that he's a huge supporter of you, and that's awesome. Joaquin's awesome.
Oh yeah, Joaquin is like awesome. Yeah. Like the dude is
he's the best.
rock solid.
Like, he is like he's like a trophy for me. Like he's a person that if you do good things, then you get good things. He's like I mean, I love you.
Is he watching?
Yeah.
Bring him on. Tell him to come over real quick. Yeah.
He's
I don't think I've ever heard him say more than 3 words, actually.
He's not much of a
He's a man.
What's up, Joaquin?
Hey, buddy.
The big guy.
Got a haircut. It was long, wasn't it?
Oh, look at that.
It used to be long like Roman Reigns, and he got a haircut.
Yeah, at the summit, I thought he was hired support. I'm like, oh, that's that diamond cutter girl. She must be super VIP because he was just like back behind you the whole time like this. And I'm just like, all right, cool. I guess I'll just say, hey, what's up, and I'll walk away.
Well, it's crazy. Like, truth be told, my ex-husband, he hated DDP yoga. He was super anti. He was a huge mark, and he loved wrestling, but he could never get his shit together. He's always struggled with his weight and just being a really negative person. And when I started doing DDP yoga, we started having a lot of problems, and that was like just a tiny piece of why we got divorced. There was so many other reasons, but he made my health journey a super negative thing. And so when we went through the divorce, I took a step back, and then when I met Joaquin, he was like all about it. Like, he's never had weight issues, but he's super athletic, and he's never done like yoga before. I know, don't call it yoga, but you know what I mean? Like, he's never done anything like this before. And so he was so game to try it, and he's always been really supportive. So it was like easy to make the transition to come back and start doing what I love again. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And you see that pattern so often is when one person in a relationship tries to better themselves, it's either two different things happen. One is that partner joins them and supports them, or it just becomes a lot of jealousy and negativity, and they do everything they can to pull you back down. Yeah. And it sounds like kind of like that's what occurred with you. Like during mine, my wife was nothing but supportive. If I needed to work out, she took care of the kids. Like right now, she's wrangling the kids so I can continue doing this. It's just, some of us are lucky to have that. Some of us are lucky to get away from that. And, it's awesome that you did. And it sounds like you finally got that guy that's going to lift you up instead of pull you down.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Definitely.
I was lucky enough to get the same, because there was lots of support for me doing the workouts. And even though he wasn't initially doing the system even really, he was just like, well, shouldn't you be working out? I was like, yeah. And now look.
Calling you on your shit. And now she still calls you on your shit, doesn't she?
Yeah. Oh, like, she's fucking overtaking me is what she's doing. I mean, I remember the day we came back was when Hayden ran a workshop, and she came out so super pumped. She's like, I think I'm going to be an instructor. And I was like, fuck off. You're going to take my students? Just have a couple down the road? What's this all about? She's like, oh, we'll be a family business. I'm like, oh, yeah, of course. That makes sense.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hand her your earbuds and have her sit down.
She'll get her.
You just got to teach her to edit.
I love it.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing. So and honestly, but I want to clarify, you're way more than your story. You're way more than DDP yoga. So let's talk a little bit more. Like, you've had some awesome stuff happen recently.
Oh yeah.
Where you took a DNA test.
Turns out,
and
she was on the telly and everything.
Yeah. So you're going viral on two different ways. Like, what the hell, lady?
Isn't that
Seriously
crazy? Absolutely.
So tell us all about it. What happened?
Yes. Okay. This started 2 years ago. Joaquin, for Valentine's Day in 2018? Yeah. In 2018, for Valentine's Day, he got me a DNA testing kit from 23andMe. And really, I was just doing it because I have all sorts of health problems, and I was wondering if I could find anything else out about them through the kit. Okay, so this.
And to preface it real quick, you're adopted, correct?
Yes, yeah, that's pretty important in the story. I'm adopted. I was adopted when I was a baby, and it was a completely closed adoption. I was adopted through an agency hours away in like North Alabama, and I'm all the way down on the coast in Mobile, Alabama. So I figured if there was any family around, they would be from another state or like way up north, far away. But fast forward to this January, like the past couple of years, I've gotten notifications that said like you have a distant relative, and it's like sixth cousin, seventh cousin, like 0.05% related to you. Like nobody, you know what I mean? Like nobody big. But I was in carpool getting my kids, and I got a notification. It's always when I'm getting my kids. It's like good luck.
You should just park there, and all kinds of good shit will happen.
Yes.
It's like, oh shit, broke down again. What the hell is going on?
Yeah. So I was in carpool when I got the same notification I've got a million times. Like, you have a new relative match on 23andMe. And I checked and I looked and it said half brother. And I mean, I almost shit. I was like,
clipping that.
You wiped a tear. You wiped a tear, then said you shit your pants.
I didn't, but felt like I was going to. But yeah, so half brother, and then you can like choose to connect with them, and I did, and like I got an instant notification that was like, well, they want to connect with you too. And I just sent him a text, and we went back and forth, and he said, holy shit, you look just like my mom. And I asked where he was from, and long story short, I have 4 siblings. They grew up about 30 minutes away from me. They live right across the bay. My mother, my biological mom, she went to the same school as me. Her husband's restaurant was my favorite restaurant. I've seen pictures of her that we've walked down the same halls and streets, and we had the same theater teacher. It's been absolutely bizarre, just crazy.
Well, let me ask you this then: if you had the same teacher, would they, of course, with you being adopted, they would probably never not think once of going, well, you look like so and so. But I saw the pictures. Did no one at any point go, you look familiar? You know,
I
never
got anything.
Wow, because those pictures were amazing.
They were, yeah.
Well, what's crazy about it is I was adopted into an Arabic family, so I'm legit the only white kid in my entire family.
I think I made the joke. You're the white sheep of the family.
I am a white sheep. There's black sheep, but not me. I'm the white sheep. My sister was adopted as well, but she was lucky enough that she came from an Arabic family, so she blended right in with my family. You know, nobody ever guessed that she was adopted either. But there was all these like tan, brown haired kids, and then there was me. So when I saw my brother and like pictures of my mom, it was really like the first time I've ever seen anybody that looked like me, and I'm still like blown away by it. It's been totally crazy.
That's amazing. And then you met up with them, and you took a picture with them, like where you guys all met, and now they were contacting. They want to feature you on like all different kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, 23andMe, they sent me an email, like it's just a generic email, like if you've had any success with our website, let us know. And I sent in an email and was like, I found my whole family because
you're like, bring your checkbook, bring your damn checkbook.
And then they flooded me with emails like, we want to share your story with the world, so now we have like all these news people lined up wanting to talk about my story and stuff, and it's just it's wild. It's crazy.
That's amazing.
Meet Kristin Nava, who connected with Gambino and the rest of her biological family through 23andMe, which uses saliva samples to tell customers their genetic profiles and connect them to relatives who share that DNA.
I've always felt different, and just it's been wild to meet people that look like me. The first time I ever saw somebody that looked like me was when my son was born. So when I met my siblings and saw what they looked like, it was pretty mind-blowing.
It turns out Nava and her mother followed a similar path. Both grew up in Mobile. Both went to St. Paul's Episcopal School. Both even had the same theater teacher.
It's been really fun. I've always felt really, really different. My parents always wanted to kind of fit me in this bubble. My dad's a doctor, his brothers are doctors, all my cousins are doctors and nurses, and engineers, and then there was me, and the only one covered in tattoos, and I love, DDP yoga. Yeah, right. Yeah. So
I mean, you're a sinner, but I support you.
Much obliged. Thanks. But,
yeah, I mean, we almost agree on music. It's just she keeps doing this thing with AC/DC, and I can't stand AC/DC. Now we're going to get thumbs down on YouTube. Now we get the thumbs down.
AC/DC.
Oh, okay, I'm not alone.
Oh, good God.
So good. Kristin does a Thunderstruck challenge.
Hey, yeah, you know that song they wrote, and then they kept writing it? That's a great song.
Not a big fan of AC/DC. I was a bartender, unfortunately, for a few years in a strip club.
It's a jukebox.
AC/DC all you heard.
And a strip club?
Yeah, and AC/DC was on the hour, every hour.
All right, so yeah, that's incredible. The fact that you went from having no siblings to a billion siblings. Did they know that? No blood siblings. Obviously, adopted siblings are still that. But do they realize that like you're a yoga teacher or a DDPY teacher? Have they talked to you at all about wanting to take your classes?
Yeah, they have actually. We met like right before the quarantine. And so we had all these big plans. Like my sister was like, I want to take some classes. And like my aunt, my mother's only sister, she lives literally 2 minutes down the road from me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm talking like this is the craziest story. Like I said, I thought if I had any family in this world at all, they would probably be from another state or like hours away. So it really blows my mind that they're like right down the street from me. We live off of the same road.
Wow.
But yeah, she was like, you should do some, workouts in the park and stuff. But then the COVID came and we haven't been able to hang out at all, but we still communicate through Facebook and our phones and stuff. So yeah, they all want to take my classes, so it's really
Wicked.
cool.
So are you not allowed to do any outside classes, Kristin?
I can. I mean, I've been doing like the online stuff so much, and I just kind of stuck with that.
Yeah.
I honestly could. I've been just, to be honest, I've been like terrified to leave my house. I have like an autoimmune disease, and so I've been super spooked about getting around anybody. Like I'm one of those guys. But now I see that everybody's kind of coming out of their shells, and I've been thinking like, well, maybe I could do something in the park where we could like keep our distance away from each other or something, just figure something out.
Cool.
Yeah,
I mean, in the meantime, you've really taken advantage with Yall Fitness. Like, you've got I think you have like 800 plus people in that group.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean,
It's
like,
ridiculous.
I think like only like 20 or 30 of them are actually active. But yeah, if we're talking numbers, I got a pretty big number. But it's crazy. It completely. There's so much negative that has come out of this COVID shit, but one of the biggest positives was us starting our online stuff. I started when I started my certification, I was completely terrified to speak in public, period. That's always been my thing. When I was a kid, I couldn't do school plays because I'd cry in front of everybody. So when I started my certification, like 2014, I would get on Google Plus with like Beverly and a few other DDP people, DDP dinosaurs, and I would practice with them and try not to cry. And that was like that's where online started. And then I got hired on at a gym, and then I lost my job at the gym, and then quarantine came, and we all started it all over again. So it's been pretty cool. It's been really cool.
That's awesome. You mentioned autoimmune disease. I just wanted to touch on that if I could, because there's a lot of people who are coming to DDPY from that angle, people with fibromyalgia, things like that. I know you talk about sometimes having like flare-ups that get in the way of your workouts. You still do them, which is key, and you modify, and it's amazing. If you could talk about that a little bit for us.
Yes, definitely. I have struggled with fibromyalgia and arthritis pretty much my entire life. I was diagnosed with juvenile arthritis when I was 13 and fibromyalgia as well. They just kind of pinpoint, like narrowed it down to what we think is psoriatic arthritis. A lot of my issues are not just my joints. It's my skin too. So when I have a really bad flare up, my skin falls off of my feet and my hands, and I get like these really bad deep cuts in my joints. So I can't really bend my fingers a lot without them cracking and bleeding. It's absolutely brutal. So my pain isn't just on the inside, it's on the outside too. And a lot of times I have to modify everything. I have to do chair workouts. I have to sometimes just do a little breathing and stretching on the mat. But I've kind of tried to figure out I've got to do something every day, because arthritis is one of those things, like, it wants to slow you down. And it's funny because, not funny, but I found out through my biological family, my aunt told me that I had a great aunt that was completely crippled and bedridden from arthritis. And when I heard that, it was like, holy shit, like, you really need to keep going, because one of these days you might end up like her where you can't, move. So I learned,
use it or lose it.
Right, exactly. I got to keep moving, even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes on the mat every day. I just got to do something and modify. I'm like, ain't no shame in my modification game.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it.
Boom.
Exactly. And and with that said, Kristin, I want to reiterate to that specifically is, people don't need to think that they're not put it into work if they feel like they have to sit in a chair, because you can get a heck of a workout in a chair. So we all say check that ego at the door, but that chair workout can be something special if you really get into it.
Oh yeah, I mean, the beauty of DDPY, and I think that's what has helped me stick with it for as long as I have, is the dynamic resistance part of it. I can sit in a chair and get my heart rate up just as easy as if I was like running around doing crazy shit like George Fenmore. Love you, but I'm just saying, like, you don't have to like do a bunch of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I love George.
I was waiting for it, boss.
Sorry, that was hashtag be more Fenmore. But we'll get into that one day.
I mean, he's not that crazy.
Nah. He invented hee-haws, which is the best thing. He hasn't owned it yet. He hasn't owned it. I'm waiting for him to take it. So he was doing a tag team workout with us, and he picked there's a way where you pick up one leg and you hold the knee into your chest, and he said knee hold. I don't know if the internet wigged out or I wasn't paying attention, but I heard hee-haws. And I can't unhear it now. So whenever you pull a knee to your chest, I'm calling that a hee-haw. I want it to catch on.
He is from North Carolina, but I'm the one that has the accent, not him.
That's true.
Start saying it in your workouts, dude. Let's get this going.
Hashtag hee-haw.
There it is. Well, yeah, I mean, this has just been awesome. It's cool to really see like another side of you as well, outside of just that girl in that video, because like I said earlier, you're more than that. But I have one question. I know you are a big Alabama football fan.
Woo.
Roll Tide, roll, yeah. So I need to know one thing. Last week we asked there you go. We asked Sarah, she's a big Danzig fan, who's going to win in a fight, Danzig or Dallas. So I need to know who's winning in a fist fight, Nick Saban or Diamond Dallas Page.
Say no more. You don't even have to give me the other option. It's Nick Saban. He's our Lord and Savior.
Wow.
Wow. So
this is Jesus. He's God.
He's God, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit, done.
Oh my God.
Right.
All right.
Wow, we're just building those thumbs down on YouTube.
Man. Amazing. All Auburn fans everywhere are gonna be like, bullshit. Diamond Dallas Page whoop his ass.
Yeah.
Amazing. I like that there was zero hesitation. That's what made it.
Yeah, zero. I mean, I don't think you even got the rest of the sentence out. She's like,
No.
Nick.
That's it. Nick Saban.
Incredible. That's awesome. So we're gonna wrap this up here, but Tom's gonna do his nutrition segment. Last week, Sarah stuck around. You want to stick around and hang out for it?
I love it. Yeah, I was gonna tell y'all that was like Tom. That was like one of my favorite parts of last week's thing was.
Oh, thank you.
Your stuff at the end. Yeah, for sure. I'm all ears.
Well, now I have the chance to disappoint you. So
I was sincerely thinking that somebody was gonna shit all over me about being vegan. So
You're what?
So that's what this opportunity is right now. So we actually only brought you on the show just to shit on you for being a vegan.
Can I just gotcha journalism? Can
I just interrupt there?
That's it.
No, I'm kidding. If I got to cut you off.
No, yeah. I mean, all jokes aside, Kristin, had we known that ahead of this, we probably would have booked somebody else. But we've gone this far, so we'll just Boz can cut that out. We don't
Too
want
late
to
now.
be associated with that. So.
Oh my god.
No, it's been absolutely awesome having you on. And I would just like to say for the record, one more time, stop giving this lady shit. Your answer to me if you do. All right?
Thanks, Fred.
Done.
Thank you.
Fine. Okay. So if we move on to the nutrition segment, I'm going to move Tom into the middle here to take center stage because I can do that now, which I like.
All right, Kristin, I got a question from 5-year-old Tom. What does y'all mean?
Is that a real question?
That is a real question from me when I was 5 years old.
Okay. Well, from where I'm from, it can mean many things, but for everybody else, it's the combination of you and all together. However, y'all can be one person. Like I could be just talking to you, Tom, and I'd say, hey, y'all. Or I could be talking to like a very large group of people and say y'all, so yeah, but it's everything here. It's basically the only word I say pretty much.
So it's grammatically spurious.
Yeah.
It's a Southerner's aloha.
Yes, it's hello and goodbye. Yeah.
We did run a little thing saying if you have an idea for how we intro Tom's segment, we not only had submissions and name suggestions, we had someone go beyond the pale. Are we name checking? Will made something for us, which is sort of beyond awesome. So it was his suggestion and the video he made. Here you go. This is your intro for this week. We think we're going to leave it open so we can have more suggestions, and then we'll run a poll on what people like the most. But if this doesn't inspire people to do more mad shit, I don't know what does. So here we go.
It's time for Nom Nom with Dr. Tom.
It's science, bitches.
It's science, bitches.
It's science, bitches. Well, guys, where are we gonna go from there? I'm gonna take this around.
Is the segment over?
Guys, okay, segment's over. I want you guys to start naming some popular diets. Just start shouting stuff out. If I were to Google what's the best diet, what are the things you're gonna start hearing?
M&M's.
So here,
Vegan.
Reese's Pieces.
Vegan. Reese's Pieces.
Keto. Weight Watchers.
Herbalife.
Weight Watchers. Herbalife.
Paleo.
Shakeology.
Slimming World.
Can you fucking
intermittent fasting? I can hear you. Everyone's jumping on each other. Guys, there's everything, right? There's keto,
Carnivore.
paleo, intermittent fasting, carnivore. If it fits your macros. OMAD. Have you guys heard of breatharian?
Oh yeah, I breathe air for a living. Yeah,
so
I stay
there's
alive.
people that feel they can get all the nutrients that they need in the world from their breath. They don't need any water.
That's good.
They don't need any food, right?
That'll be a nice little brush fire for the human race to just put out a little bit of the.
There's also freegan.
Imagine, unbelievable, right? But I'm not going to shit on anybody. This is not my job. My job is I want this to be an open discussion, right? So what is the biggest argument that people have is, and a lot of times it's what's the best diet. We hear this all the time. I put this up on the DDPY Facebook page. It immediately got taken down because too many people are arguing. So it's a controversial topic. So I want to take away the stigma of that we need to argue. All I'm going to do is present some ideas. I want to actually bring more people together. So if you guys thought I was doing this to actually push an agenda, it's actually we're going to try to bring each other together. So of all the people out there, guys, do you know what the word, have you ever heard of confirmation bias? Does anybody know what that means?
That's when you look up something, and even if there's 100 results that say you're wrong, you find the one result that says you're right. And you're like, see, I told you. Confirmation
Yes and no,
bias.
right? So confirmation bias means that we all have our own opinions. We have our own ideas of what's true, right? Now, we're more likely to find the data that supports our hypothesis, and we're likely to dismiss or ignore the things that kind of differ from us. So what I want in all these segments every single week is I just want you guys to have an open mind. Everybody does have thoughts and opinions on what they feel is the truth. In these segments, I just want everybody to have an open mind. That's how I'm going to approach this. I hope you guys will approach it that way too. So let's look broadly at some data, right? So there's people that study this all the time. We mentioned just in the beginning of the show about 20 different styles of dieting. There's probably 1,000. If you Google it, you're going to find millions and millions of ideas of what is the best diet. There's about 31 pieces of peer-reviewed journal data right now that show that if you take all of those, or the majority of those diets, and if you equate them for calories, so they're all equal calories, a lot of the journals show that there is not a significant difference in fat loss over 1 year. There's not a significant difference in health markers over 1 year. So that's really, really important for us to understand. I'm going to post after the show, we're going to have ways you guys can get some of this if you're looking for. There's 2 really, really good meta-analysis that were done. One looked at 11 of these popular diets. One looked at 16 of the popular diets. The one that was the meta-analysis, the 16 diets, it's 121 different studies that they were analyzing. There's 21,000 subjects. So this is a very good piece of data. Over the course of 1 year, that they found that there was not one diet that is significantly better at losing weight or improving health markers. So that's really, really good news for us, because we're always being pushed on something. Something has to be better than the other. So what I would prefer, since we know that it's not the actual diet that you follow, which is going to give you the results, what should we be following? So I've got a great resource here. It's the National Weight Loss Control Registry. So I believe that success leaves clues. And I think it's really, really important to study the habits and behaviors of people that are successful at reaching their goals. So this National Weight Loss Control Registry, it tracks the methods and behaviors of over 10,000 successful dieters who've lost more than 10% of their body weight and have been able to keep it off for 1 year or longer. So looking at their data and understanding what they do might be a better answer to this question. And what it's showing is, again, the type of diet that you follow is not as important as one major thing. And you guys know what that thing might be? I want to hear some guesses.
Consistency.
Yeah, dedication.
Adherence, dietary adherence. So when they're polling these people and they're following these, over 10,000 people who are very, very successful at losing weight over the long term, they're finding that they've all followed significantly different diets. Some are keto, some are vegan, some are paleo, some just count their calories. But what they're finding over and over, and that meta-analysis that I referred to earlier that had the 16 studies, they broke down each individual group and they found who was the most successful within each group. And they found the higher adherence to their diet, the more weight loss they had, and the better their health markers were. So there's make a correlation between the fact that the health markers improved mostly because the decrease in body fat and body weight. So when all the finger waving and all the pointing subsides, the one thing that we have to really, really think about is compliance. So a successful diet is not one that you go on and off. It's one that you're able to maintain for a lifetime. So for the short term, we're thinking about years, 10 years, and a lifetime. So my advice to everybody is find what works best for you. And it sounds really, really vague, but it's actually, it works. So why overcomplicate the situation with all this different, why fight over the smallest little details? Find what works best for you over the long period of time. What can you sustain over a long period of time? So my suggestion is, if we're starting to think about what would be the best meal plan for you, I want you to think of the 3 S's. The first S is going to be simple. So is this something that's very easy to do? The second S I want you to think about is this something that's sensible? So are you meeting your dietary needs by consuming this type of foods? And number 3 is this sustainable? Is this something you can do over a long period of time? So I wanted to give you guys 2 examples. Let's talk about one diet that I did find. It's called the grapefruit diet. Have you ever heard of this?
Yes.
So what the grapefruit diet is you consume 3 grapefruits a day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, you consume a grapefruit, right? So let's talk about S number 1. Is that simple? Sure as fuck. It's super simple. All you do is eat a grapefruit, right? Who can't eat a grapefruit 3 times a day, right? Couldn't get dumber than that. Yeah, if you want to, I'm sure you could. I'm sure there's rules, but deal with
Well,
that.
there's
Now,
Kevin Smith
number
and his potatoes.
like his potato diet, right?
Yep.
So it causes a caloric deficit. Sure, the person's going to lose weight, but look at the number 2. Is it sensible? Is it sensible to eat one food for the rest of your life? That's the only thing you're consuming. Are you getting protein, fats, and carbohydrates that you need from that? No. Are you getting the micro and macronutrients that you need to survive? No. In fact, you would die on that diet because you're not getting any dietary fat. Our body needs dietary fat. We don't produce that on our own, so we would need that. So,
well, you could get an Aberdeen Angus grapefruit.
That's true. That's a great point. That's a great point. But then also we look at sustainability. Can someone do that for a long period of time? Likely not. So let's compare that to just a simple balanced diet. Now, I'm not pushing for a simple balanced diet, but I just think this is the best example, right? We took your plate, round plate, cut it in half, cut it in quarters. We filled the first quarter with some sort of a protein source, your choice. Vegan source, meat source, your choice. We take that extra little quarter, we put some sort of a carbohydrate choice, your choice. We fill the rest of the plate with vegetables, your choice. Now, is that simple? For most people, that's pretty simple. You don't have to have good cooking skills to do that. You don't have to have a really, really expensive budget to do that. You don't have to have a lot of creativity. You can just find what you like, fill that plate with that. Is that sustainable for most people? Certainly people can probably do that for a long period of time. Is it sensible? You're meeting all the macronutrient needs. So I think one of the problems is we're just really, really overcomplicating a really, really simple subject. Can we get into the minutia? Can we argue? Can we fight? That's our human nature. That's what we love to do. I don't like to. I don't want to fight about this shit. So every single week I'm going to present just exactly.
We saw that post
off air. So you guys saw the post, right? I wanted to see what the answers would be. So I posted on the DDP Facebook page just to see what was going to pop up. I just said, what is the best diet and why?
There were like 83 comments in 2 minutes.
Riot.
Yeah, I saw that. I went, you fucking troll.
No doubt.
So I wrote as the first comment, I'm trolling. I just want to
I didn't see that.
I got a lot of great results. A lot of people said the same thing we just talked about. Find something that works best for you. Find something that meets your macronutrient needs and find something you can sustain over a long period of time. That's the likelihood of doing that. But how many people are actually doing that? Not a lot of people are saying it. So Ryan is a great example of that. Boz, you're a great example of that. I don't know too much about Travis's diet. I know it's pretty much like a balanced diet. I know
he eats like shit.
Farm.
It's kind of a little bit of shit, but I stick to kind of a paleo diet. If I had to say any sort of diet, I just do meat, veggies, and fruits.
It's whatever it can trap as it's passing.
So the question for me to you, Travis, is why is that successful for you?
Sustainability. I mean, I've been doing it for about 4 or 5 years. That's
makes sense.
What I've been following. Right. Exactly.
It's easy.
Makes sense.
You like those food choices.
I'm not a
never
foodie.
tell Kristin, right?
I'm not a foodie where I don't need a mile-high plate and something fancy. I just need my meat. I need my veggies and occasional fruits, and I go from there. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't have the perfect diet. I went up to my mother-in-law's today, and she lives in Virginia, and you don't have the choice of too many foods. So I smashed some Hardee's today, a couple of cheeseburgers. It is what it is, but
80-20.
But again, when you say
80-20.
perfect meal, what's perfect? Exactly. There's no such thing as perfect. That's not sustainable. If you guys know, I also do individualized one-on-one coaching with clients that come to me with that question all the time. Kristin, if you were my client, would it ever make sense for me to say the only way to lose weight is a carnivore diet and try to convince you to go from vegan to carnivore? Makes no sense, right?
No.
It'd be like
Makes no sense, but people do that all the time, right? They say that's the only way to success. Now, I feel really bad for people looking for information because, again, you find a Google search and you'll find a billion different ideas that say it's the only way or it's the fastest way or it's the most successful way. And we know from these meta-analysis, there is no faster way. There is no more successful way. That's science. Then we have our logic. We wanted to approach all of these with science and logic, right? Find something that works best for you. Find something that you can follow all the time. My biggest thing, and I had to write this down because I wanted to sound super smart because I don't sound smart, but I want you to pick the dietary strategy that works best for you, the individual, and I want you that promotes long-term dietary adherence. So that's the key. I'm going to end this with the compliance is the science. So guys, thank you for your time. If anyone has any specific questions, they're more than welcome to write into the show. Or if anybody has any things that they wanted to do as a talking point from that, I'd love to. I'm sure I missed some stuff. I could talk about this for 2 hours, but we want to cut this down to 10 minutes.
Or at least it's like the biggest subject.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think that you, man, nailed it. Like the summation there is literally if it works for you, and it's so important to find what can work for you for a very long time.
I wish
for sure.
I wish I knew you and I'd met you like 20 plus years ago, maybe more, because my poor mother, I watched her yo-yo diet her entire life, and she hit a success streak when she actually used to be a distributor for Herbalife, and of course it was just because it got her into an absolute rock solid routine of calorie control, basically, and that's what it was. But what I think, tying into diet, when you've got things going on like insulin resistance, like genetic, that there is a genetic element to being larger. You've only got to look at baby pictures. I mean, God, mine, it's obvious. So a lot of this thinking now, I think coming to the fore more is this more reasoned, more balanced, less, cornered way of talking about things. And I like that that's what we're hearing more. When you put that post up, most people were saying something sustainable, something sensible. It's coming through. So I think it's going to help a hell of a lot of people. And I just, I wish I'd known it like 30 years ago.
There was one comment on there, Tom. I just want to cover it real quick. I'm not going to call it the user because I honestly don't remember his name. But he's like, I cook chicken and I put it on vegetables. Sometimes I add teriyaki. That was his answer. That was the best way to lose weight. And I'm like,
that's cool,
shit,
right?
That'll work. 3 meals a day.
So
chicken on
I also have
teriyaki.
a really cool. You can't beat that. I have a really cool statistic that I wanted to mention to you guys that I found for that national weight loss control registry. 6 out of 7 people that start a diet and follow it lose weight. That's awesome, right? 90% of people that have lost that weight within 3 years gain all of it back, if not more.
And usually more, yeah.
So that's really, I think, what we need to focus on is because there's a million ways to do it from that short term. And what do we need to do to adhere to something for the rest of our life? And like I said, the problem is if we're digging through the minutia and we always feel like we have to find something better. And that's human nature, right? We're always trying to find the better way. If we just stick to what worked, which is
because diets die. That was
right.
the most
Exactly.
important thing that I learned.
Thank
through
you.
All
That
is
is exactly.
Diets die, but a healthy lifestyle change will last forever. And I think that's why I struggled with weight my whole life. Was I always tried whatever was on TV, like the next fad diet, and I'd always get to, I'd lose weight, but then, like you said, I'd gain it all back, and then I was like, okay, well, on to the next, because that didn't work, and then on to the next, and my weight just went like this my entire life until DDP yoga, until I figured out, well, basically, if you don't eat shit all the time, you'll be all right,
Yeah. And, it goes back to portion size as well. Before I, started paying attention to things, it'd be nothing for me to sit down and eat 7-8 slices of pizza. But, in my 80-20 deal, if I have dinner and I have 1 slice of pizza, it's not going to kill me. And that's another thing that people need to realize in their life. It's like, if you do fall off of what your plan is, don't beat yourself up, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Enjoy it. Someone posted in my group the other day, oh, I had a cupcake. And I said, did you fucking enjoy it? I hope it was good. God, just enjoy it and get back to it,
See, to play devil's advocate there, I completely disagree. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I spent my whole life doing that. I spent my whole life saying, oh, it was just a cupcake. Right. And then just a cupcake turned into cupcake and ice cream.
Right.
And then that turned into eating a whole fucking pizza.
Yeah.
So exactly. But some things can't be done in moderation. If you're a recovering alcoholic, you don't go to a wedding and say,
exactly.
hey, I'm going to have a shot of whiskey. It's just 1 shot of whiskey.
Right.
Perfect.
So once again, it goes back to what works for you.
Right.
So to mediate that, the point I'll take from what Travis said and agree with you as well, Ryan, is you might slip up in a moment of weakness and do that. You're saying you can't do that, but for some people, they're going to do that. Peer pressure.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
They're out somewhere. The point is, a lot of people take that as, I was doing so well and I fucking failed. Oh, well.
So you might as well stop.
Raid the fridge.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
Don't kick yourself. Don't punish yourself. But if you're doing intermittent fasting, fast another 2 hours the next day. But that's what I do when it works for me. Intermittent fasting is great.
Yeah.
So if I have a bad night, then I simply won't eat for longer. And I know that the hunger is controllable just by drinking some water, and it's not going to kill me because my body's used to it now. And I'll just push a little bit further. Let the glycogen stores go. Do a workout. Empty the glycogen stores. Get back on.
Right, but I think a lot of that boils down to because people refer to things as cheat meals that necessarily aren't. In the group, there was a question was like, is it okay to have a cheat meal? I wanted 2 tacos for dinner. Okay, cool. Have 2 tacos. Find a diet that you can have, a way of eating, excuse me.
A menu.
Yeah, those 2 tacos are part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're fine. It's not a cheat. It's just part of what you're doing. So while don't kick your own ass because you had that cupcake, but don't let that cupcake turn into a cake.
Right.
And I'm saying in the hit the mat argument here isn't that if you ate 2,000 calories too much, you're then going to go and burn it on the mat, but you do increase your metabolic rate. I'm looking at Tom here, like, tell me I'm right. Like, you do kick up the burning.
I have something awesome to tell you.
Motors a bit.
I have something awesome once Boz is finished. That it's a really, really interesting thought. Do you guys know how much body fat you can put on in one day? If you absolutely maximize, so say you're one of these, you see these YouTube videos, people eating 10, 20, 30,000 calories. From a physiological standpoint, do you know what the max body weight that you can, body fat that you can gain in one day?
0.3%.
It's close to 1 pound. Like 1 pound, right? So you can really, really, really fuck up. Now you'll put some glycogen in, like Boz says. You'll gain a shit ton of water weight, right? You'll feel terrible. But the metabolic process of you gaining fat from that, you can only gain about 1 pound of fat. So that's the whole thing, right? So your scale may say 7 or 8 pounds afterwards. And that's cool because it's all the water, it's all the glycogen, it's all the inflammation in your body trying to process that food. But from a physiological standpoint, it's, you'd have to do a ton of calories to consume that because your body's not even going to process all that food. You're going to pass so much of that through. So
yeah. But if you keep doing that and you keep topping up and your insulin doesn't coming down, that's where it starts to accumulate, isn't it? So
yeah. But 1 pound a day is 28 pounds a month, which equates to 360 pounds a year. Like, it's like, so while 1 pound sounds really insignificant.
Slippery stuff.
Yeah.
So the mental side of getting on the mat and saying, okay, I'm just saying from my own personal experience, this is how I process things. So I'll go out and I'll do a tough workout. I'll do a couple of tough workouts. I don't know if it's burned the crap I ate. What it does is it resets my brain and it makes me think, okay, I've done something negative. Now I've done something positive.
Right.
Then the next day starts and you don't feel like shit because you dropped the ball.
Yep.
That is the power of.
So we talk about balance, baby. It's all about balance.
Balance.
Yep.
So that's what
awesome. And the biggest part of the balance, guys, is the mental aspect of it. We're going to beat up on each other if we do something bad, but we very rarely are going to celebrate if we do something good. So you have to balance that too. If you fuck up and eat that cupcake and you didn't want to, you got to make sure that the next day you say, I ate really well and I'm going to celebrate that because you're going to feel much better about it instead of thinking all week about that one cupcake. Mason!
In the house!
A tiny Ryan.
Fresh out of the bath.
Oh my God.
Moment of fame.
Yeah.
That's right. He's got red light syndrome. He sees it and he's just like a fly.
Let me bring my 17-year-old here and sit on my knee.
Fresh out of bath.
He's 2 times bigger than me, though.
Awesome. That was fantastic. I think we should zip it there because, like you say, with diet, we could always go on. And we got plenty of other shows. What Tom doesn't know is we have an outro as well.
Oh, yes.
This has been Nom Nom with Dr. Tom. First-rate advice from a second-place finisher.
Game first, you're last. You know what I'm talking about? That phrase, trademark, not to use the other position, Ricky Bobby.
Love it.
There it is. Awesome.
In wrapping up, so things we can be doing here. We'd like your feedback. We'd love your feedback on the section we just did. Questions for Tom. The other thing, just send us emails, anything you want to say. If you want to send us a video like Steve did, that was awesome. If you want to send a stupid title sequence like Will did, that was also awesome. So yeah, please send your emails to the normal address. You'll see it here. If you're listening on the podcast, I realize we did this last week. I put graphic overlay so everybody could see what the email address was. Of course, none of you on the podcast can hear what it was. So it's hitthematpodcast@gmail.com. I'll do it because Brian always fucks it up. And that's
where I wrote it down this week.
Oh, the one time you're prepared and I stole your thunder. I'm sorry. So, yeah, send your emails there. Obviously, you can comment through social media and everything else. We love getting your feedback.
But be sure to like us on all the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell. We've got some. We've been talking as a group here. We're going to do some like quick hit content. Probably some physical challenges, some really stupid things here and there. Hopefully with some of our past guests, if Kristin would like to join us for a physical challenge here or there. And it could be anything from a five question interview taken from plank, or it could be a challenge of who can do the most push-ups, something dumb, something just to keep us on, on your brains when we're not producing content for you, because we're only every other week. But as long as you're subscribed and you got that notification bell going, you will know that it's going to be out there. And for some of you regular listeners, there's a lot of you that have been commenting and really giving us feedback on a weekly basis. We would like you to jump in on this stuff too. We're trying to figure out a way to really incorporate a lot of you. I think it's a really great way for us to bring that community in. And because honestly, at this rate, we can bring on 26 people a year, but we want to show so many more of you, because there are so many people that should be on here that we may not even know about. But and that's the other thing is if you know somebody you want to see them featured on here, if they can do a better job than Kristin, you tell us who they are, and we'll try.
Easy shit right there.
Yeah, we can find them. Micro interviews recorded to our phones, like stuff like that. We can get out quickly. That there's limited by imagination only.
Absolutely.
Grab your beverages, everybody. As we say together. We'll see you next time, and hit the mat.
Hit the mat.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hit the mat.
Cheers. Cheers, y'all.
Better Hit The Mat podcast. Boss, the man on track beast. It's the boss, the dogs, Alex, Travis, the Shamrock, Gucci, the sweet stash, nothing but class, Thomas, the nutritional expert, and the headache is head, shotgun supplies as well. Ryan, a man who changed his life and his view on it, and he does it usually upside down.
I know Travis had a lot of internet issues last week, but it's great to see that he started out on the right foot this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're back, baby.
So much better.
You know what he did was all those classes and all that testing used up all 100 hours he had on AOL.com.
It's true.
From that disc from 1998.
We got to find another disc.
Yes. So if you got a disc, guys. No way. Robin unplugged the Wi-Fi.
Oh, I would be fly on the wall for that one.
Whoa. We just leaned so not like right in sync. You leaned and I leaned, and then we came back in perfect sync.
Like I go to kiss you and you move away. Like get the fuck away from me.
Wait. I think I go like right there.
We can get there. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Get the extension cord for me, and she accidentally unplugged the goddamn Wi-Fi box. And now, for some reason, my fucking internet will not connect again. All fucking day, I pay attention to my phone. It's been full bars in the house.
Motherfuckers, take a goddamn drink, please.
Dude, why is he frozen? Guys, he's frozen, right?
Yes. Fuck you, Tom.
I guess transition into to our guest for this week. Yes.
No.
No. Okay. Well, that's why I said I guess. So you can cut it. Fuck it. What do we need to do next? Then he'll pull you in, and then you can do your hey y'all hey.
What? And I checked and I looked and it said half brother, and I mean I almost shit. I was like, what?
And then you just go from there, yeah?
Well, that's why you can't actually stand up too fast, right? Are you dressed from the waist down, Tom?
Can he hear us?
No.
Tom, are you there?
So you guys can cut. I haven't been able to hear any of this, and I didn't want to be rude.
Jesus,
so
dude.
So I've just been sitting there with a smile on my face.
What?
All right, let me just sort this out. I am actually going to take this opportunity to get a refill, so he may have to hang
see,
around.
now you see why we record this and then
Hey,
edit.
do the same thing.
I get it.
One be a sec.
Fucking amateurs. I packed 2.
Not that one. Amateur hour.
Patrick Swayze?
Let's try that again.
It did say Patrick Swayze. Yeah.
Eat a salad.
That's what I do.
What?
Tell me that you're going to be able to get that screenshot of Tom yawning. I think that needs to be an addition into the nom nom thing. And just jam whatever's going into his mouth. Okay.